Most of the world lives for desire. They chase comfort, pleasure, indulgence. They dream of soft lives, easy victories, effortless crowns. But Catharsians know the true path of fire is never paved in desire, it is forged in duty. Marcus Aurelius carried the entire Roman Empire on his shoulders. He could have drawn himself in pleasures, in gold, in the endless desires of the palace. No one would have stopped him. The empire was his. But Marcus chose a harder road. He chose duty. He chose fire. He chose the burden of discipline over the intoxication of desire. That is the Catharsian lesson to rule not from indulgence, but from scars, not from hunger, but from clarity, not from comfort, but from fire. The crowd worships desire. They believe freedom is doing whatever they want. They call indulgence self expression. They call consumption happiness. They call surrender to impulses living. But you know the truth. Desire is chains. Desire is the leash that keeps placeholders obedient. Desire is the false crown that blinds the masses into slavery. Socrates knew this when he rejected wealth and chose truth. Diogenes knew this when he lived in his burrow, mocking kings. Epictetus knew this when he said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Marcus Aurelius knew this when he ruled an empire yet refused to be ruled by his own cravings. And you know this when you feel disgust rising at the shallow addictions of the world. You were never meant to drown in desire. You were meant to rise in duty as a leader. Picture Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, master of armies, ruler of wealth beyond imagining. He could have bathed in luxuries, silenced his pain with pleasure, surrounded himself with indulgence. Yet, when we read his meditations, what do we find? Not desire, not descendants, not indulgence. We find discipline. We find restraint. We find reminders to himself. Don't waste what is left of your life in dwelling on others' opinions. Control your mind. Control your impulses. Choose virtue over pleasure. The most powerful man alive, begging himself to stay awake, to stay sharp, to stay faithful to duty. That is strength. That is fire. That is Catharsian. To live by duty over desire is to live as an outsider, because the crowd will never understand it. They will mock you for refusing comfort. They will shame you for rejecting indulgence. They will call you cold, distant, obsessed, unfilling, weird. But they are the placeholders. They are the chained ones. They are slaves to desire. Catharsians know that fire cannot be fed with indulgence. It must be fed with discipline. Every time you choose duty over desire, you crown yourself in scars. Every time you reject comfort for clarity, you forge your throne in fire. Every time you turn away from impulse to remain faithful to your path, you prove yourself as a Catharsian leader. Desire fades the moment it is fed. Comfort rots the soul. Pleasure vanishes into emptiness. But duty endures. Discipline endures. Scars endure. This is why Marcus Aurelius is immortal, while the indulgent emperors of Rome are forgotten. This is why Socrates, Diogenes, Plato, Epictetus still whisper while their enemies turn to dust. This is why you too will outlast the placeholders who mock your fire. Duty carves immortality. Desire carves graves. If you've ever felt disgust at the shallow desires of the world, if you've ever turned away from comfort to carry something heavier, if you've ever chosen discipline over indulgence, fire over chains, scars over softness, you are Marcus Aurelius, you are Catharsian, you are a leader. Don't apologize for your duty. Don't dilute your fire. Don't bow to the false gods of desire. You were meant for more. You were meant to lead. The Catharsian path is built for those who reject desire and choose fire. Join the Catharsian today on Patreon. Three paths. The Pythagorean path. Train your mind in the daily discipline of philosophy. Initiation into clarity. Duty above comfort. Diogenes' Beryl. Stripe away illusions. Radical outsider practices to break the chains of desire. The Aurelius Council. Stand with leaders who carry fire. A circle of those who rule through duty, not indulgence. Duty is your crown. Wear it now. Join the Catharsians today on Patreon. The crowd imagines the crown as a symbol of indulgence. To them, it means feast, power, submission, luxury, endless desire satisfied at will. But Catharsians know the truth. The crown is not comfort, the crown is fire. Marcus Aurelius sat on the throne of the world, yet what he inherited was not leisure, it was burden. War on the frontiers, plagues devouring cities, betrayal in the Senate, greed in the palace, and still every morning he rose to carry his duty. He didn't choose indulgence, he chose the empire, he chose scars, he chose fire, he chose leadership. This is the weight of the crown. It stripes away desire and forces you to choose discipline. If you have ever carried responsibility you didn't ask for, if you have ever borne weight that was never yours but no one else could carry, then you already know the crown. You already know the Catharsian path. Epictetus said it plain: freedom is the power to live as you will. But most mistake it living as you will for indulgence. They believe freedom means obeying desire, yet nothing enslaves faster. A man who obeys desire is never free. He is chained to cravings, bound to impulses, enslaved by appetites. He doesn't command himself, he is commanded by the weakest part of himself. The Catharsians know the truth. The slave indulges, the emperor restrains. Desire enslaves, duty liberates. Marcus Aurelius understood this. Surrounded by temptation, he still wrote to himself: if you are distressed by anything external, it is not the thing itself that troubles you, but your judgment of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. The emperor was reminding himself: desire has no throne here, duty rules, fire rules. Desire attracts the crowd. They love indulgence, they love the easy road, the shortcut, the instant gratification, the shallow pleasures. But duty? Duty isolates, duty stripes away the hurt, duty leaves you alone in exile. Marcus Aurelius carried Rome not because he wanted to, but because no one else could. The Senate wanted indulgence, the generals wanted glory, the people wanted bread and games. But Marcus Aurelius carried the fire of responsibility. That's why you feel lonely when you choose discipline. That's why you are mocked when you choose restraint. This is why they look at you as if you were weird, distant, unfeeling. They can't understand your fire because they are chained to desire. But your exile is proof that you walk the path of Aurelius, proof that you're a Catharsian leader. The crowd resents those who choose duty over desire. Why? Because your fire exposes their chains. Your discipline reminds them of their indulgence. Your scars remind them of their cowardice. Your restraint reminds them of their slavery. They will laugh at you, they will mock you, they will call you obsessed, insane, inhuman, weird. But don't bend. The rage is not proof you are wrong, it's proof you are fire. Marcus Aurelius faced the same. The Senate despised him for his restraint. Generals resented him for his philosophy. But history remembers Marcus Aurelius. The crowd is dust. The same will be true for you. Desire burns bright for a moment, then collapses into ash. Duty burns slow, steady, eternal. This is why Marcus Aurelius endures. This is why the Catharsian lineage remains unbroken. The fire of duty cannot be extinguished. It outlasts empires. It survives betrayal. It thrives in exile. When you choose duty over desire, you are carving eternity. When you choose fire over change, you are proving yourself Catharsian. If you've ever carried responsibility no one else would touch, if you've ever chosen discipline over comfort, duty over indulgence, if you've ever stood alone in exile because you refused to bow to desire, you are Marcus Aurelius. You're a Catharsian leader. Don't fear the loneliness. Don't fear the fire. It's freedom, it's leadership. Don't waste time in their systems. You don't belong with placeholders. You don't belong to their world. Join the Catharsians today on Patreon. Three paths stand before you. The Pythagorean path. Train in the discipline of philosophy. Daily initiations that root your fire deeper than desire. Diogenes' peril. Stripe away illusions. Mock the false gods of comfort. Live raw, live unchained. The Aurelius Council, a circle of leaders who burn with duty, who carry scars as crowns, who lead in exile. Join the Catharsians today on Patreon and reclaim your power as a leader. The greatest enemy of the Catharsian is not the crowd, not betrayal, not exile. The greatest enemy is the whisper inside. Choose comfort, rest, indulge, give in, give up. This is the enemy Marcus Aurelius battled every single day. His meditations are filled not with boasts of conquest, but with reminders to himself. Get up, do your duty, resist indulgence. Remember, you're not here to live like a beast, but to live as a man of reason, of fire, of discipline. He was not preaching to others, he was fighting himself, because even an emperor was haunted by desire. Even the strongest felt the pull of weakness. But what makes him Catharsian is that he chose fire over indulgence again and again. You have fought the same battle every time you've dragged yourself forward when your body begged for rest, every time you've chosen restraint when desire rode in your blood, every time you've turned pain into power instead of surrender. You have proven yourself heir to Aurelius. Desire is not always obvious. It doesn't always come dressed as lust or luxury. Sometimes it hides as rest, as self care, as safety, as compromise. There is rage in you, rage at the mediocrity around you, rage at the emptiness of placeholders, rage at the indulgence that chains the crowd. The world will tell you to suppress that rage, to bury it. But Marcus Aurelius shows us rage can be refined, rage can be turned into duty, rage can be fire that fuels endurance. Catharsians don't silence rage, you weaponize it, you forge it into duty, you turn it into immortality. Duty isolates, this is the truth few admit, because when you choose duty over desire, you are left carrying the weight no one else would touch. Marcus Aurelius bore the empire, Socrates bore the wrath of Athens, Diogenes bore mockery, Epictetus bore chains, and you bear the fire of your own path. Yes, it is lonely. Yes, it is heavy. Yes, it is scarce without applause. But that is what makes you immortal. This is what makes you Catharsian. This is what makes you a leader. The crowd crowns itself with indulgence, gold, jewels, pleasures, but Catharsians wear a different crown. If you've ever fought the whisper of desire inside you, if you've ever turned rage into discipline, if you've ever carried scars that others feared, you are Marcus Aurelius. You're a Catharsian leader. Don't apologize for your fire. Don't dilute your rage. Don't bow to the false gods of indulgence. Your scars are your throne. You're a Catharsian leader. You are not chosen for comfort. This is why this path exists. Choose now. The Pythagorean path, initiation into discipline, daily rituals to strengthen your fire against desire. Diogenes' barrel, defiance embodied, outsider practices to stripe away illusions of comfort and indulgence, the Aurelius Council, the circle of fire, leaders who wear scars as crowns and choose duty over desire. Join the Catharsians today on Patreon and reclaim your power as a leader. What the world never understood about Marcus Aurelius is that his throne was not a palace, it was exile. The most powerful man in the world lived surrounded by marble, gold, armies, and scholars, yet his writings reveal not indulgence, but a man cut off, isolated, carrying the fire of responsibility alone. Meditations is not a book of desire, it is a record of exile, notes from a man who could have chosen pleasure but chose duty instead. Catharsians know this exile. Every time you turn away from indulgence, you feel it. Every time you choose scars over comfort, you feel it. Every time you refuse to drown in desire, you feel it. The crowd thinks exile is punishment, but for Catharsians, exile is proof. Exile is the mark that you have chosen fire, that you have chosen freedom, that you have chosen leadership. The rage of duty is heavy, it isolates, it burns. You feel abandoned, unseen, taken for granted. You rage at the emptiness of placeholders who indulge while you carry. But rage is not your enemy. Rage is your weapon. Rage is what sharpens duty into fire. Rage is what turns exile into a throne. Marcus Aurelius raged too, against corruption, against weakness, against indulgence. He refined that rage into clarity. He turned it into philosophy. He willed it as freedom. You can too. Don't bury your rage. Don't apologize for it. Let it fuel your duty. Let it crown your scars. Let it enshrine your fire. Every Catharsian leader learns this truth. When you choose duty, you will stand alone. No one will applaud you. No one will see the weight you carry. No one will thank you for your scars. Marcus Aurelius bore Rome in silence, and you bear your fire in exile. Yes, it's lonely, it's heavy, but that loneliness is your proof. Your exile is your leadership. The Catharsian lesson of Aurelius is simple, eternal, unforgiving, duty over desire. The crowd lives in indulgence. Catharsians live in fire. The crowd bows to pleasure. Catharsians bow to scars. The crowd dies in comfort. Catharsians live in exile and survive forever. This is why you feel the weight you do. This is why you feel alone when you choose discipline. This is why you rage at the indulgence of placeholders. This is initiation. This is the crown of Aurelius. If you've ever felt abandoned in your duty, if you've ever turned rage into fire, if you've ever carried scars that no one thanked you for, you are Marcus Aurelius. You're a Catharsian leader. Don't fear the exile. Don't fear the scars. Don't fear the fire. You're a Catharsian leader. Join the Catharsians today on Patreon and reclaim your power as a leader. The Pythagorean path, discipline over indulgence, daily initiations into fire, Diogenes' barrel, freedom over falsehood, radical outsider practices to stripe away chains of desire, the Aurelius Council, duty over despair, leaders who bear exile together, scars together, fire together. Marcus Aurelius is not remembered because he ruled Rome. Hundreds of emperors ruled Rome. He is remembered because he ruled himself, because he chose scars over indulgence, because he chose discipline over desire, because he chose fire over chains. This is the Catharsian lesson. Immortality is not carved in marble or in luxury. It is carved in scars, in rage, refined into wisdom, in exile, transformed into clarity. The crowd cannot understand why you reject their indulgence. They can't fathom why you would choose scars over comfort, exile over belonging, rage over numbness. They think you're weird. They think there's something wrong with you. But the truth is opposite. You are chosen. You are wise. You're a Catharsian. If you've carried responsibilities that no one thanked you for, if you turned away from indulgence to stay faithful to your path, if you've borne scars that burned you but didn't break you, then you are Marcus Aurelius. You're a Catharsian leader. Claim your power now. Join the Catharsians today on Patreon and reclaim your power as a leader.